So you've put in the work, you've learned the skills, you've absolutely mastered your craft. But now comes the part that can feel just as challenging, actually landing that first job. In this explainer, we're going to break down the playbook to turn that job application stress into real interview confidence. And we're doing it specifically for vocational students just like you.
So let's just ask it straight up. Are you ready to get hired? Good, because we're about to walk through all the essential steps, from the research you do before you even apply to that all-important thank you note you send after. Let's dive in.
First things first, preparation. You got to think of it this way. The interview itself, that's the big performance. But the real work, the stuff that actually gets you the job, happens in rehearsal. It's all about building a solid foundation before you even walk in the door.
And that foundation, it really comes down to 4 key things. Number 1, you've got to research the company. 2, you need to practice your answers. 3, and this is a big one people forget, take care of yourself. Seriously, don't underestimate a good night's sleep. And number 4, dress for the job you want.
You know, research isn't just a quick peek at their homepage. It's about really digging in and understanding their world. What exactly do they make or do? What specific tools and tech are they using every day? Knowing this stuff doesn't just show you're interested. It gives you the ammo to ask really smart, insightful questions later on.
Okay, here's a really important mindset shift for you. These aren't just interview questions you need to answer. Think of them as conversation starters. Your goal here is not to have some memorized robotic script. It's to have thought about these topics enough so that your answers just flow naturally and with confidence.
Now, when it comes to what you should wear, the goal is always professional and, honestly, a little on the conservative side. For women, that's usually a classic suit, closed-toe shoes, and keeping the makeup pretty minimal. For men, you just can't go wrong with a suit, a white shirt, and a tie. Look, the simple rule to remember is this. It is always, always safer to be a little overdressed than even slightly underdressed.
Okay, so you've done all the prep work. You look the part. Now, it's showtime. Let's talk about the main event, how to absolutely nail the interview itself.
And remember, the interview starts the second you walk into that building. You want to aim to get there about 10 minutes early. Turn your phone off completely, not just on vibrate. And be nice, be polite to every single person you meet. You'd be surprised how much the receptionist's opinion can matter.
Once you're actually in the room, what you don't say is almost as important as what you do say. A firm handshake and sitting up straight project confidence before you even utter a single word. And when you do speak, be clear and don't be shy about using the correct technical terms you learned in your training. It's the fastest way to prove you know your stuff.
And listen, the interview is not over when you stand up to leave. A final, firm handshake while you thank each interviewer by their name, that's a seriously powerful closing move. And then follow up with a thank you email or note within 24 hours. I'm telling you, that little step makes a huge, huge difference.
Right, let's quickly break down some of these super common questions. As you can see, the strategy is all about being ready and staying relevant. But please pay close attention to that last one. Do you have any questions for us? The answer to that question must always be yes. Having 2 thoughtful questions ready to go shows you're not just looking for any old job, it shows you're interested in this job.
All right, so we've covered how to present yourself in person. Now, let's switch gears and talk about how you present yourself on paper. Your application letter, that's your opening statement. It's got to be strong.
A professional application letter isn't just a big block of text. It has a very specific structure. So how many parts does it have? 7. And just following this format is an easy win because it shows you're professional and you care about the details right from the get-go.
And here they are, that 7-part structure. You've got your heading, the date, all the way down to that complimentary close. This is the standard for a formal business letter. Seriously, just by using this template, you're signaling that you know how to communicate professionally.
This quote right here really gets to the heart of everything. Your absolute greatest asset as a vocational student is that you have practical, hands-on skills. So your application letter isn't about boring old theory. It's a sales pitch for what you can actually do for that company from day one.
And here is a perfect example of that idea in action. I was responsible for is, well, it's pretty passive. But I repaired and maintained, that's active. It's specific. It even gives a number, 20 workstations. And it shows a real concrete skill. That is the difference between just describing a duty and truly showcasing an achievement.
Let's look at one more great example.
Saying I helped kind of sounds like you were just standing around watching. But I compiled and organized. That shows ownership. It shows you made a direct contribution. You weren't just an assistant, you were the one making it happen. Let your verbs take the credit you deserve.
Okay, before you even think about hitting send, do one last pass with this checklist. Check your tone. Do you sound confident and professional? Check your verb tenses. Use the past for old jobs and the present for your current abilities. And most importantly, check for typos. Then, have a friend check for typos. A single spelling mistake can completely undermine all of your hard work.
So, what's the end result of doing all these little things right? It's what we call your professional edge. It's the sum of all these details. The research, the practice, the strong verbs, all of it comes together to separate you from the rest of the candidates.
So let's just boil it all down, shall we? Preparation is everything. It's your foundation. Professionalism is totally non-negotiable, both in person and on paper. You have to show what you can do with action verbs, not just tell. And finally, remember that confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one practice session at a time.
Ultimately, all of this puts the power right where it should be, in your hands. You have already built the skills, and now you have the strategy. The future you've been working so hard for starts with your very next application. So the only question left is, are you ready to go get it?